Hello beautiful people, you all are welcome to this Blender tutorial brought to you by the Lewis Art. My name is Emmanuel Okafo, and in this Blender tutorial we shall be texturing a character inside Blender. So my goal is that by the end of this tutorial I should have showed you guys how to texture a character inside Blender, and also show you guys the tools and some tricks on how to use Blender's texturing to its full potential. Okay, so this the model you're seeing on the screen is one of my recent portfolio. As you can see on the screen, it's the fan art of the recent Spider-Man movie. So in case you want to see how I set up the scene, you can download the file. The link will be in the description, though it's not free. You can just support me through that way, through checking out the character and also picking up a thing or two. There you can find the shaders, the hair shader, the node set up, the texture, so you can see how I can set up files like that or scenes like that. Okay, so let's jump into this tutorial. So before you start texturing, you want to make sure your object or your character has a UV map. So in case you don't know how to create a quick UV map, you can select a UV sphere, and by default Blender gives you a UV map, but let's say we don't have a UV map for this guy. You can just hit U for umbrella and select smart UV project. So this will give you a decent looking UV map. So we already have a UV map for this guy, so we don't need to worry about that. So we can just proceed in creating our texture. So to create your texture under your node editor, so you can find that here, UV editor, and you can see this new and open. So we want new to create our texture. We'll just call this head underscore diff, that's for the diffuse color, and we'll leave the width as it is. This is a 1K texture. I just because of performance I want to leave it in a little quality. You can increase yours to 2K, 4K, and anything you want. Okay, so for the color I'm going to leave it as it is, and I can hit OK. So it's important you save your texture, because once you save the file, it does not mean that Blender is going to save your texture for you. So it's important you save your texture separately from your file. Okay, so we can proceed now to texturing. So we can select the model and go into texture paint. So once you go there, you can notice it's all purple. So to fix that, there are two ways you can do this. You can make the texture up here. You can either go to the node or the shader editor and add a texture image and select the face color. Okay, so you have, sorry, that's not the right one. Select the head diff, so that's what we're looking for, and this way works too. There's another way that you can use to select the texture. We can go to the tool panel by pressing N, and on that tool you want to go to the texture slot and switch it from material to single image. Okay, so once you do that, you're also good to go. So you want to switch it to the right texture, so we're going to select the head diff, and now we can start painting on our character. So the way this tutorial is going to go is that as I'm texturing the character, I'll be sharing with you guys the technique, so we are killing two birds with one stone. So the first I want to do is to get a basic skin color. So the way I'm going to fill it up is I will grab the fill brush by hitting the space key and grabbing the fill. So I've already selected a skin color which I like and setting the strength all the way to 1. So you can either increase the strength here, or you could just use Shift F and increase the strength. So I'm just going to fill it up and we have a basic skin texture. And now I'll grab my drop brush, okay, and go to the stroke. I want to switch it to space. So space is a smooth method, so that's what I want. Okay, and also I want to make the stroke of the brush to be really soft, so I will go to the fall off and select a soft fall off. So this one is really harsh, so I don't want that. I want a really soft one, so this is perfect for me. And now the way I go about painting my skin texture is I try to do it layer by layer, because the skin has different layers that makes it appear very complex or complicated. So I try to divide the skin into 3 colors first of all. So this first is kind of orange yellow, that's for the forehead. So I'm going to paint that. And so kind of orange, yellow orange kind of color, you paint that in for the forehead. Then for the middle part I will select the red and just paint that in. Okay, so you, in case you don't like working like this, you can also work with the top panel. So if you go to header and select show to panel, then you can also work like this. I prefer working like this. So we're going to paint this red, and finally we'll paint the bottom blue. So this is the 3 pigmentation that makes up the face. So the yellow, red, and blue. Okay, so from this we'll also break it up to make it more complex. Okay, so now I will grab the white color and reduce the factor and just start pushing it in. If you're wondering how I'm getting this menu, you just hit the special key, that's W, and it pops up. So I will just paint in white here. Okay, so now I will just try to blend in all the colors. So to use the color picker brush, you click on S and select. So this is quite important because it gives the skin, it makes the skin look quite realistic. So where I think, because I'm using a reference tool, so where there's more blood, I'm going to paint it red. So now we just blend everything. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with this. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with this. And let's proceed to the next section, and that next section is adding textures. So to add texture, you just let's bring out the tool once more. In the texture tab, we select the texture and click on new texture. So want to select the cloud brush, okay, and leave it as it is. What we want to do is go down to the color, and under color ramp we want to move the white closer to the dark area. So what this gives us is, I'll just show you that. So the closer the white is to the dark area, we get kind of the full paint, but the further it is, we get nice patterns. So we want to use this and create, we'll be using this as our texture to be able to paint in the skin. Okay, so let's select the color, the base color for the skin now, and reduce the factor, the strength of the brush, and start painting it in. So I'll just slide it to be more stronger, and we just paint it in. So if you were wondering how I'm getting the symmetry, you just click on this X right here, and then you get symmetry. So we'll just paint. You can also scale the noise. .1 usually, 0.05 is usually perfect for it. So as you can see. And we'll just keep painting. So this is will be giving us different color variation. So that's what you want when creating your skin. You want to get those nice color variations. So what I also like to do is for this black handle, I will change it to a red color. Okay, and to add more detail, I will add another slider, and this slider will be greenish yellow. So we have, like I said, what I'm trying to get is variation in color. And for the interpolation, I'm going to switch it to B-spline, so it's like flooding, it mixes the color perfectly. So we're getting nice variation. Most of the time, this variation colors doesn't show except you come really closer, so you get free skin pore. So as you can see, if we get really closer to this guy, you can see what we're getting. So this makes the model, your texture look more detailed rather than just filling up the color. So we'll just mainly worry about the front part of the face so that we can finish the tutorial faster. Because we're getting a really nice variation with the noise texture. Okay, so once we're done with that, we can start bringing in more colors. So we'll get this kind of light transmission around the ear area. We'll just add a little red blemish there. Okay, so let's say it's the dude we're painting is like roughly 24-25. So we get this little whiskers, like sign that there is beards there, so I like to add that. So let's make it more prominent, make the noise really intense. So we're getting like so many things for free just using the noise textures. So we can dial back because it's quite intense. We can dial back the effect, select the skin color and just reduce it. So we just get little idea that's there, but you don't want it to be much. Okay, for the eyes, I usually just go with the very greenish white and just flush it out there. And reference is key. Reference makes your life easier. And so all the colors I put initially are quite still important. Sometimes you really need to see it. So I really want to see it in the forehead because it makes it, since the forehead is really up direct to the sun, it gets a bit tanned, so that's why the color is more saturated than the rest part of the body. It's raining here right now. Okay, so it's quite much, so let's reduce that again. So all you're just trying to do is get like different variation with the skin. So now let's add the lips. We'll just grab the red. You know what? I'll just select the skin color, go to the color palette, and add more saturation to it. Okay. And I will turn off the X mirror because if you get really close, there's this artifact which I created. So if you don't want to have it, that's the way. You just turn it off so you don't have any artifacts. And bring it in. So most times for the lips, the inner lips is more saturated than outside the outer part. So let's do that. So you don't want it to be red like he's wearing a lipstick. You just want it to be minimum. And let's also paint in the eye duct. Forgot to turn on the X mirror. Do this manually. Okay. So it's quite decent. Let's fix that. So now I want to have more detail to the skin, like more dots and stuff like that. So a cool way to do that is so now let's add that. So I think we need to scale up the noise slightly, 0.1, and I'll just paint it in. And we'll do that for this color too. And finally, for the last color, the bluish tint. I usually like to just grab the greenish brush and go around here. That's okay. And finally I grab an orange brush, and for places that touch I use the orange brush to just add details there. we are done. So let's create some asymmetry. We'll turn up the X mirror, and now we'll go to the stroke, and we'll switch this stroke method to anchor. So what we are going to do with this is just create some details that are unique to just certain parts. Okay, so now let's put the real color, use red. And now let's just paint in the forehead lines. Use a space brush, just go in and paint it in. You can just fade it out so it's not so intense. And final touch, since I have my hair, I want to create a fake shadow. Even most of the times the light will not create that during that time, so I usually just create it myself. I will just paint in darker colors so it creates a shadow, but it brings out the realism. So it makes the hair more grounded. Okay. I think that would be it for this tutorial. Because you can always keep iterating. I think I'm becoming like really I can't stop again, so I will just have to stop it here. And let's just preview it with Eevee. So I'll go to my shader and select the material and just connect it. Let's see how it looks with Eevee. We'll add some surface. That's what we have. See, we have a nice looking skin with nice details, and even try other lights, and it looks great. So this is how I go about creating my skin textures. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys picked up one thing or two from it. If you have ideas for tutorials, you can leave it in the comments and I will try to get around to make it. Stay tuned, I have another tutorial related to this character. I will show you guys how I created this artwork from start to the finish. So thank you guys for watching. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you wish to see more from me. Bye bye for now. See you next time.